long since gone, which is probably a good thing. My uncle and I started calling the Coca Cola company and saying, listen, y'all, we've got to do something. This thing is not working.
2 months in, and America was falling out of love with Coca Cola. The number of complaining calls had risen to 8,000 a day, while a church in the American South prayed for the soul of the local Coca Cola bottler. In a final humiliation, Fidel Castro proclaimed that the death of the original formula was a sign of American decay. In the corridors of power, the executives felt under siege.
During the middle of it, I did know that we had to keep our head straight, that not to panic, not to let anybody think we were in any panic mood, and that we had a huge system that would face up to the situation and deal with it. I didn't have a chance, certainly personally, to reflect on whether we had done a stupid thing, because we were now dealing with the mother lode and we had to deal with it.
Leaving the protests behind, the executives flew to Monaco to meet the world's top Coca Cola bottlers. To their horror, they found the bottlers outside the US were not that interested in new Coke either. Deflated, the executives and their wives retreated to a restaurant in the hills, away from the turmoil.
A thing happened. We were sitting there, and the proprietor knew who was there, and he was very happy we were there. And he was sort of a classic, almost out of central casting innkeeper. And he came in with a little wicker basket with a velvet cloth on top, and he set it on the table, and he said, it's a real thing. It's the real Coke. Man, I tell you, to realize that this thing that was going on in the United States had penetrated into this one person, this old innkeeper. Kind of made you think, really think. And neither of us remember who brought it up, but one of us looked at the other and said, what are we doing? What are we doing here? It's pretty clear that the public has decided, the bottlers have decided this, the United States has decided that they like the Coca-Cola that they've been getting for almost 100 years. So let's not be foolish. Let's give it back to them.
The company had spent years and millions to replace the old formula. Now, after being off the shelves just 11 weeks, it was coming back, renamed Coca-Cola Classic, to stand alongside new Coke.
Our boss is the consumer, and we want them to know that we're really sorry for any discontent that we may have caused for almost 3 months. And Coca-Cola Classic is truly a celebration of their loyalty. Some critics will say Coca-Cola has made a marketing mistake. And some cynics say that we planned the whole thing. The truth is, we're not that dumb, and we're not that smart.
What's a good word? Capitulate? They gave up. They were wrong. We surrendered.
And I have now a 6-pack from the first case of Coca-Cola Classic produced in Atlanta and air freighted out to us. Dave, congratulations and thank you very much.
What a treasure. Thank you, Mr. Collins.
You're certainly welcome.
I always felt that this showed a lot of the communistic countries where they didn't have the freedoms, what you could do in America, that one individual could get together and through the news media and stuff could defeat a multinational company.
No, it was worth working for.
They didn't understand they weren't just selling sugar water, they were selling a tradition.
Even Coca Cola itself had failed to realize how successful 99 years of polished, relentless marketing had been. The taste was almost irrelevant. They had made Coke part of America, as sacred as the flag, Mom, and apple pie.
Probably there are psychiatrists and psychologists that can explain this to you far better than I. But I know that we took something that was 100%, to my way of thinking, 100% American, 100% pure, 100% wonderful, and we messed around with it, and people didn't like that.
It was a big mistake. I mean, they were taking away Coca Cola. So, yeah, that definitely was a big mistake. I'll still say it's a big mistake. 17 years later, it's a big mistake.
But people were again talking about and drinking Coke. The biggest marketing blunder in history seemed to revitalize the company. By year's end, Coca-Cola stock had risen by 35%. A short time later, Coca-Cola Classic was back at #1, and it's still there today.
Now, do we wish that every regular Coca-Cola drinker had fallen in love with the new product? Of course we do. Do we believe in the long-term viability of the success of the new taste of Coke? Absolutely.
New formula Coke never caught on. The company eventually allowed it to fade into obscurity. The chairman and the president received huge bonuses in the year of new Coke and went on to make Coca-Cola one of the most successful companies of the next decade.
Taste of Coke.